Today on Why I Love ... Why I love walls. What, walls ice cream? God no, I mean like stone walls or brick walls. Wouldn't be caught dead eating that mass-produced crap. Walls don't get much love. Most of the time, walls have negative connotations. If someone builds a wall around themselves, it means they're closing themselves off from their loved ones and even the world. When the walls are closing in, it means you're in trouble and there's no escape. Then there's that old ghost story about that person being murdered and walled up in a cellar, and then they come back to life and start breaking through the wall and all that. So, walls get a bad rap, but I'm here to change your mind about walls. In my life, I've lived in 3 homes in Kent, 2 in Norfolk, and 7 in London, but none of those places would have been as cosy or comfortable without walls. Walls aren't the foundation to any good home. That'll be the foundations, but they are pretty crucial for warmth, soundproofing, dividing rooms up so that you don't have to watch someone having a dump while you're having your dinner, and of course, they hold the roof up. Bear that in mind next time you're slagging off walls. As part of my preparation for Why I Love Walls, I began documenting beautiful walls, a project that quickly grew in scale, leaving me with an artistic database of walls that I expect will one day be exhibited at Tate Modern, possibly as part of a wider retrospective of my career. I'll be showcasing some of this work through the course of this video. I like this one. This one's good. Phenomenal wall work here. But this is perhaps my masterpiece. Wall surprised by pigeon, I call it. Do you mind disturbing those pigeons? Was a sentence I said to a stranger to get this shot. They agreed. I think they knew I was creating something special. Lovely. Garden walls are a different kind of wall, but no less great. Ours acts as a sort of perimeter around our garden, so I can sunbathe topless without fear of being watched. But my favourite type of garden walls are front garden walls, because there is nothing in life more pleasurable than a neighbourly chat while perched on a front garden wall. Now, walls are so awesome that not only do you get garden walls, you also get walled gardens. Here I am at one of my favourite walled gardens in Brockwell Park. Now, the horticultural design in here is beautiful, but without the walls, this would just be a common or garden. The walls give it shape, they give it peace, they give it nobility, they make it into a sanctuary. I believe walled gardens are the greatest example of humankind and nature working together in perfect harmony. Well done, walls. Weathered. Curious. I thought there were only 3 famous walls in the world: the Great Wall of China, Hadrian's Wall, and the Berlin Wall. But when I wicked it, there are loads more, particularly in China, where they absolutely love a ruddy Great Wall. Very much a people after my own heart. Still, that large number of famous walls only goes to prove my point about how great walls are. I've been to all 3 of the famous walls that I knew about before I did some extra research, and I've got thoughts on all of them. In 1754, the English antiquarian William Stukeley claimed that the Great Wall of China could be seen from the moon. And for many years, this was a popular factoid that everyone knew, but enjoyed telling each other about regardless. Then at some stage it was revealed to be a myth, because of course you can't see the Great Wall from the moon, it's bloody miles away. But that in turn then became a popular factoid that everybody knew, but enjoyed telling each other about regardless. But now, in 2021, I can reveal that the Great Wall of China can be seen from the moon, if you have the proper equipment. Makes you think, doesn't it? I went to the Great Wall myself back in 1995, and as a real wall lover, it was the greatest day of my life, even if it was quite foggy and I couldn't actually see very much. Construction of the fabulous 73-mile-long Hadrians Wall began in AD 122, when walls were still something of a novelty. It actually stretched across the entire width of our island, although at quite a thin point. But still, that's just me being nitpicky. There are many theories on exactly why it was built, other than it just being a good idea to build a wall because, walls are great. Was it an observation point? Was it sort of a customs area, a bit like you get at Heathrow? Or was it simply to slow down possible invaders from the north? Or all 3 of those things? I don't know, but the most interesting thing I read about Hadrian's Wall was this. The wall also provided years of work for thousands of soldiers who were responsible for building and maintaining the structure, which gave the further benefit of preventing any boredom for the soldiers. Yeah, because no one could ever get bored of building a single wall at a certain height for mile upon mile upon mile for day after day, could they? I mean, I'm being serious. Sounds fantastic. I actually own a piece of the Berlin Wall. Well, I bought it for my wife as a gift when I went on a stag do to Berlin. Initially, she was delighted. She's Romanian, and the falling of the Berlin Wall kind of helped trigger the uprising against the tyrannical Ceausescu in Romania in 1989, so it seemed like a thoughtful gift, which it was. Then she found out that a lot of wives of husbands who had been on that trip had also received a bit of the Berlin Wall, and she was less impressed. All of the wives were less impressed, actually. But the fact is, as all good husbands do, we'd set aside 3 hours of the stag do to go away individually into Berlin to find the best gift for our wives. And when we'd done that and we kind of regrouped back together again, we had a real laugh when we realised we'd all settled on exactly the same gift, and we thought, well, surely no one's going to mind. It's a great gift to bring back from Berlin. How wrong we were. I should say, before we move on, that the Berlin Wall was a bad thing. But let's not blame the wall. The wall was just doing its job, and it did its job exceptionally well. That's worth remembering, and that's why this bit of wall, cruelly rejected by my wife, is very precious to me. Geometric bliss. Glorious. Self-reflexive. Sadly, walls are underrepresented in popular culture. Yes, there's legendary India cricketer Rahul Dravid, who was nicknamed The Wall. There's a game show on the BBC, apparently, that I've never seen, called The Wall. And there's Wall-E. But beyond that, there's very little. Shakespeare never bothered to write a play about walls. Matisse never painted a simple wall. And Howard Hawks never made a fast-talking, wise-cracking comedy movie about a group of attractive young people arguing over the possibility of a red brick wall replacing an old stone wall. Fortunately, there are exceptions. Pop combo Pink Floyd really understood the importance of walls and wrote their famous ode to walls, The Wall, for their album The Wall, released in 1970 Wall. I can't play The Wall on this video because, ironically, given some interpretations of the song, the man won't let me. But if you listen to the lyrics carefully, you'll feel their genuine love for the beauty of walls shining through. All in all, you're just another brick in the wall. I mean, I think the message there is pretty obvious, but to spell it out, the brick represents the girl that the singer loves, and a brick in a wall is pretty much the most perfect thing he can imagine. Thanks, Floyd. Oh, and thanks to the rest of the band too. Dappled. Alive. Basic brilliance. While revered classical artists such as Monet, Manet, Turner and Hooch shamefully ignored the beauty of walls in their art, I'm happy to say that walls have become vital to the works of modern artists. Yes, I'm talking about graffiti, murals and all kinds of street art. Without walls, we would never have seen some of the greatest art in human history, a thrilling throwback to prehistoric cave art. And it's free to us all. Without walls, the greatest artist of our generation, Banksy, might never have come to prominence as he struggled to exhibit his work on less suitable canvases. I mean, have you ever tried stenciling onto a tree trunk? I have, and let me tell you, it is no picnic. To be clear, me talking about stenciling onto tree trunks is not some weird hint that I'm Banksy. I'm definitely not Banksy. Although, of course, that is exactly what Banksy would say in this situation. And it would make total sense for Banksy to make a video about how much he loves walls. But I'm not Banksy. Clearly then, walls are brilliant, and I urge you to at least once a day take a step back, look at a wall and give it at least a nod of appreciation. And if you need any more evidence as to the greatness of walls, I give you this little nugget of information. Back in 1972, on the very first episode of Roy Castle's Record Breakers, the record they chose to set on that show in the studio was the fastest time to build a wall. You've got no idea what Record Breakers is, do you? Here are some lovely walls to finish with. Textured. Daunting. A wall of wonder. A wonder wall. Oh no, I forgot about Wonderwall by Oasis.